Well, good evening, folks, and thank you for joining me. My name's Bill Breeden, and welcome to my Constellation Tour number 27. Tonight we're going to talk about Triangulum, the triangle. Now, I've got the software set up here, Stellarium, for a 60-degree field of view for November the 23rd at 6:39 p.m. And as Triangulum is a late fall and early winter constellation, I've got it set up for the best time to view it. Although Triangulum is at about a 35 degree declination, northern declination, meaning that it passes through the zenith, or pretty close to the zenith from mid-northern latitudes. So Triangulum should be visible before November and after January for a month or two. So there's plenty of time to observe Triangulum. I've got it set up here for suburban sky, which is going to make finding Triangulum harder than it already is. Now this constellation would be more obscure than it is, all due to the fact that it has a Messier object within its boundaries. So because of that, Triangulum is not as obscure as it otherwise would be. So how do we go about finding Triangulum? Well, it's easy and it's not at the same time. I start with the Great Square of Pegasus, which is here. We're facing east. Actually, we're facing southeast. And with this set up for November 23rd of 2020, we also have a first quarter moon and Mars here that we're seeing naked eye. So that's interesting. So let's find the Great Square right here. And if you remember from my previous tours, Andromeda is this line of stars that come off the Great Square, forming a really giant dipper. So you got these stars here, and then could even extend it out to here, although this star here is part of Perseus to Merfac. So Andromeda is basically this line of stars here. And if you look between these two stars here, the outermost and the second outermost of this handle of three stars here, if you look just below them, you'll see one star that's brighter than the others here in this general area. This is Triangulum right here. You can see there's a star here, there's a star here, and a really faint star here that form a flat triangle. So that's one way you can find Triangulum. Now, on the night here that I'm showing you, November the 23rd, it's at an altitude of 50 degrees up, so it's pretty high up in the sky. You can also sort of use Cassiopeia to find it. If you look for the W shape, you can kind of come down these two stars here until you come to the first star in Andromeda, and then kind of bend over here and curve this way, and you'll still run into the triangle here. So there's a few ways to do it. So let's have a look at the constellation lines. And you'll see why Triangulum's a little tricky to find. It's between Pisces, it's above Aries, and neither of those are known for having really bright stars that stand out. So Andromeda, maybe even Merfac and Perseus, this area here is probably your best way to navigate to Triangulum. So let's have a look at the mythical figures. And you'll see here we've got Andromeda, this line of stars here, and the triangle here is just below Andromeda, to the left of Perseus and above Aries, and it's to the left of one of the fishes of Pisces. So it's in sort of an unremarkable part of the sky. So let's have a look at the boundaries and we'll see the part of the sky that Triangulum occupies. And it's a smallish constellation, of, kind of in the same league with Delphinus and Sagitta and Aquilius. So it's a small area of sky. But because there's a well-known Messier object in it, it's not as obscure as it could be. One thing I find interesting about Triangulum is I've heard people refer to it as the Triangulum. So they may be referring to the galaxy that's in it or the constellation, but a lot of times you'll hear it with the word "the" in front of it. So it'll be like, that's the Triangulum right there, and blah, blah, blah. I always found that interesting. So let's go over that again. Find the great square of Pegasus. Remember that Andromeda is this line of stars here that make the great square into a giant dipper. And if you go over 1, 2, 3, look between the second and third ones here, and just below it, you'll see a faint triangle shape, and that is Triangulum. Just in this area right here. So let's venture out to a dark site. Let's make it dark. And now you can see the triangle's a little easier to see now right here. And we're going to find a double star I've got on my list here for tonight. That is 6 Trianguli. So I wonder if we can just find it ourselves. Is it this group here? No, that's Gamma. Delta. There's 7, so you would think 6 would be nearby. There's 5. Nope. There's Epsilon. Well, so much for trying to find it that way. Let's use our go-to. So there's 6 Trianguli right there. Let's have a look at it through our finder scope. It's listed as a 5th magnitude star, 305 light years from Earth. And through a 13 millimeter eyepiece, it's not splitting. Let's see if we can split it manually and how difficult it is. So this is a tight double. So you should be able to split this with a backyard telescope with a medium to high power eyepiece. Okay, that's the only double star I have on my list for Triangulum. So let's go ahead and show you the famous galaxy that makes Triangulum known, and that puts Triangulum on the map. It's M33. And let's see, we've gone to a naked eye field of view of 60 degrees. Now see what I've done. I did just what I do in the real sky. I looked away for a minute and I've lost it. So let me try to follow my own instructions here. Here's the great square of Pegasus, and here's Andromeda. So we go between these two stars. And okay, here's Triangulum. Okay, now surprise, you can actually see M33 by the naked eye. And up here, this is not it. This is M31, the Andromeda galaxy. But you come an equal distance below this star, and you see this smudge here? That is M33, the Triangulum galaxy. Stellarium lists this as magnitude 6, and let's see if it has a distance. It has a distance of 2.7 million light years, so it's just a little further away than the Andromeda galaxy at 2.5 million light years. So very interesting. The two galaxies are at similar distances. So let's have a look at M33 through the Finder. And I've done this before under the sky, under the real sky, and M33 appears as an oval-shaped smudge that's not near as bright as the Andromeda galaxy. And I think there's at least a two full magnitude difference in brightness between M33 and M31. So let's see what an eyepiece does. Let's put in a lower power. A 24 millimeter panoptic eyepiece shows the Triangulum galaxy really, really well. Now you probably won't get this good of a view with a small scope, even though the software is set up for an 8-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain. I seriously doubt it'll look this good with 8 inches of aperture. But you will certainly see an oval-shaped smudge with a bright core. And with a little more aperture, you'll start to see some hint of spiral arms, at least the two bright ones. This one here and this one. So let's find that again. Let's try to find M33 on our own by star hopping. Start by finding the great square, and then Andromeda comes off of it like a dipper handle. 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars. You go below the second and third one to find the actual constellation of Triangulum. But finding M33 is as simple as finding M31. Go with the second star of the handle, of the quote handle, and look up for M31, and then down an equal distance for M33. This view right here is probably closer to what you'll see through an eyepiece. So that's my presentation on Triangulum, the triangle. Good night and good seeing.